Breaking news, breaking news. Come on in, people. Come on in. Daniel Martell has been arrested. All right. Yeah, celebration. Raise the roof, raise the roof. This man is in jail. But before we get into it, I'm going to need you, of course. Nothing's changed. Just because this man has got locked up, don't mean nothing's changed. You still got to leave your fingerprints and your DNA all over that like button, just in case you go missing in the deep woods of Nova Scotia. We're going to need your DNA on file. Also, if you're brand new and you're out there watching for the very first time, make sure you sub up, ring the bell for notifications. Help us hit 82,000 people. I can't do it without the help of each and every one of you out there. Okay, so I need you. Now, since Daniel Martell hasn't been convicted yet, I need to give my warnings. DOLLY Visions for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact, just my opinion. People completely satire. Callers' opinions are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on me. Don't get me sued. I'm broke. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is proved innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. And the biggest one of them all is do not, and I repeat, do not try to be Dolly at home. Okay. Now you're thinking, damn, Dolly, Daniel Martell's really arrested? Yes, it is the truth. He is in custody right now. Locked up, won't let me out. Locked up, won't let. But is he in there for Jack and Lily? No. No. Bad news is no right now. He is actually in jail for SA. Who's seen this coming? Forcible confinement of an adult. Okay, so he's being charged with 3 counts. And he's locked up in Pictou County. And he has court March 2nd. Okay, so apparently this dude's got a little touchy-feely with an adult victim. Okay, now we knew this guy wasn't the good guy that he said he was. Father of the year, hell to the nah. The truth is finally coming out about what type of person Daniel Martell really is. Now, Dolly told you this wasn't a good guy. Dolly told you this dude knows what happened to Jack and Lily. Dolly told you that this dude was in the DMs of women the day Malaya, it is Malaya, right? Malaya Brooks left. Okay, the day she left, this dude started sliding. He did the electric slide right into some women's DMs. Now, of course, the story is breaking on CBS. I'm going to share this with you so you don't think Dolly's just coming up with some crazy stuff and clickbaited you this morning. All right, let's get into it. Right here. Stepfather of missing Nova Scotia children faces charges involving adult. Daniel Martell, the stepfather of 2 Nova Scotia children who disappeared 9 months ago, has been charged with sexual assaults, and forcible confinement. CBS News has learned. Nova Scotia RCMP confirmed that Martell was arrested on Monday and is facing 3 charges involving an adult victim. Martell is due in Pictou court on March 2nd. Martell, 34, was living with Lily and Jack Sullivan and their mother at the time of their disappearance from his family home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia last May. Lily 6, Jack 4 were reported missing on May 2nd, 2025, when their mother called 911. Search and rescue teams spent days combing through the thick wood that surrounded their rural home in Lansdowne, but the search turned up little evidence apart from a pink blanket and a child-sized boot print. since the authorities have brought in cadaver dogs, conducted 75 interviews and several paragraph examinations, reviewed 1,666 tips, 8,000 video files, and have assigned RCMP units from multiple providence to investigate the case. The children's disappearance have fueled widespread speculation and allegations online amidst media attention. Although Sergeant Rob Cameron said earlier this month that none of the children's family members were suspects in the disappearance. I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect, says McKinnon. The officer is in charge of the major crimes and behavioral scientists. We continue to gather information, whether evidence that we are able to find, and we're making our decision based on that. Okay, so basically, he is in jail. So he is sexually assaulted. Thank you so much for your donation to the channel. I love Dan forever. You were the first one on the Blessed Express tonight, and today is a good day, okay? Because they got this man locked up. Now, they couldn't get him for Jack and Lily, but we know that him and Malaya have been lying this whole time in the disappearance of, in my opinion, of Jack and Lily Sullivan. So now I don't know. There's another article. Give me a second. I'm going to pull that up. I haven't had a chance to get to that yet. And it may say some more details of what transpired. Let's see. Is this one trying to make me sign up for it? I think it is. Okay. To get the news, they want you to sign up for their newsletter. It just says stepfather charged with sexual assault on an adult. Okay, it won't let me skip this either. Okay, so that's basically the news on Daniel Martell, that it is confirmed that he has been arrested on 3 charges of sexual assault of an adult. Hit that like button, people. If you're just coming in, let's get those likes up. I had just planned on talking about Jack and Lily and Summer and Sebastian Rogers. And right as I was pulling this video up, getting ready to go live, I got the news that he was arrested. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, this is great timing because we're about to go live on this subject anyway. Now, I'm sure more information will be coming out on the person that he allegedly assaulted. And, it sounds like he was physical with, I'm hoping it's a woman, right? Because he had been sliding into the DMs of different chicks for quite some time. Okay. You always hit the like button. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. Jack and Lily goes missing 9 months ago. And, I right off the bat, I thought he was overdoing it, just basically overdoing it a lot. Like, he was out there saying he was out running the helicopters, running through water up to his neck and all these things. Now, remember Dolly told you that he was in the DMs of some girls and that they had hit me up. And what they were doing was, they were kind of just going along with him because they thought that it would help the Jack and Lily case, right? That, okay, let him flirt, let him say what he wants to say. Maybe he'll tell us something. It's the same kind of thing when, that, people do with Candace when they give her liquor. They're like, oh, well, maybe Candace will talk if we get her drinking and she spills it, right? So these girls thought, well, if I let him, hit on me and talk to me, Capital Productions, thank you so much for getting that membership. And if you got that membership, make sure you give Capital Productions a big virtual hug. And basically they was just kind of going along with it, but wasn't really interested in Daniel Martell. Okay. He kind of basically looks like he ain't took a bath in like a month. He wears the same t-shirt every day. I don't think he's quite the ladies' man, but then again, I could be wrong. You never know these days. Anybody can be a lady man. Boy mom right here says, give me 1 second. Let me get on it. I don't have my glasses, so I'm trying to do the best I can. Justice for these kids. We need you in Ohio for the tape coverage, the Teppy coverage in Columbus. Love you, Dolly and PJ. Well, thank you. And I know that surgeon goes to court for killing those two people in Ohio. Shame on him, but he got busted red-handed. There's video. There's plenty of evidence against him. And, yeah, he's probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Misunderstood. Y'all hit that like before Dolly rage quits. Y'all better. I'm known to rage quit these days. I did it. Nobody thought I would. I said, I'm going to rage quit on y'all. And everybody's like, Dolly won't rage quit. He won't do it. He never does it. And then bam, I rage quitted on y'all. And now everybody's like, okay, we better like the video. Dolly might rage quit. So how many people are happy that Daniel Martell is in jail? If you're happy that this man is locked up, I want you to like this video and press 1 in the chat. Okay. Like this video, press 1 in the chat. If you are happy that this scumbag is in jail. Okay. I see some ones already popping up. Now listen, we can only speculate to what he done, right? But it sounds like he was, touchy-feely with a woman and he locked her in the house. Now, who this woman is, we don't know. But listen, some of these people, I want to explain this, and I'm going to use Seth Rogers as an example. Okay? Like when your kids go missing, people feel sorry for you. They hug you. They're like, oh, well, so, I'm here for you. And they start to, to comfort you because they feel bad for what has happened to you. Right? And some people take that as in, this person likes me. Hold on, let me turn my lights on. Okay, it was a little dark in here. I was like, okay, I don't have my studio lights on. I was like, why does it look like I'm sitting in the dark? Do they have a bond in Canada like here? It doesn't say anything about a bond right now. It just says that he will appear in court March 2nd. So it looks like he's going to be sitting his ass there in jail for a good minute. Now, listen, sexual assault is a pretty bad charge. It ain't like he went to jail for running a red light or he went to jail for DUI or something silly. This is major felony crimes. So looks like he won't ever get into the United States. You know what I'm saying? Unless he comes through the southern border, So it appears that he's sexually assaulted. It just says adult, but I'm assuming it's a woman. Okay. But right now it don't appear that there's any bond. I mean, I could have PJ get me the information and we could contact Pictou County and see if there is a bond for Daniel Martell. Okay. Which I don't think there is. He appears in court March 2nd and he's probably sitting there until March 2nd, which is, he's going to be in jail probably at least 30 days. No bond in Canada, straight up bail or remanded. Okay. So I'm assuming on these types of charges, they're keeping him. Okay. Because if he would have already posted bail, the news would say, well, Martell made bail or he was released to appear in court. But I could be wrong. Okay. I could be wrong on this. But what I do know is his ass is locked up. Okay. He's there. And, like I said, he was being pervy right off the bat because I seen the messages. I have the screenshots saved somewhere. I'll have to dig them out of my email because these people wrote me and said, you ain't gonna believe this, Dolly, but this dude has slid up into my DMs. And I was like, no way. And the person told me, they said, listen, don't say anything. Don't say anything about him being in my DMs because I want him to, see if he'll talk. And I was thinking, okay, that's a good thing because maybe he will talk. Donna, I'm looking now. Okay, PJ's on it. We'll find out what the situation is with his if he has a bond or if they're keeping him or what is going on with him. So they told me, they said, Dolly, don't say nothing. Let's see if he talks. And they were giving me information. So why would I say anything? Okay. But I did say that he was, trying to slide up in women's DMs and that, but I know the women that he was doing this with. Now, I don't know if these are the women that have charged him, because they haven't said nothing to me like, yo, Dolly, I went over his house and he was trying to, grab a butt cheek. They didn't say, right? But serious charges for Daniel Martell. And what we need now is Malaya Brooks locked up for something, and get them in there and say, listen, we'll let you out if you tell us the truth. Something they need to get these two people going against each other. Right now, basically we've always had Daniel kind of defending Malaya. He blames her, but then when you say something bad about her, he wants to defend her, right? Like, oh, don't say her mental health is so important, blah, 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 right? But, he's out doing whatever the hell he's doing. And they acted like they had no problems in their relationship. But soon as she leaves, there's alleged another guy that's talking to Malaya. And then there's women that he's trying to get up with. And he made it out to be like he was so in love with Malaya. But soon as she was out the picture, he was slipping and sliding right up into the DMs of other women. So crazy situation, but I think it's good. Get them off the street, let them sit there and rot a little bit until they do find evidence against them. Evening, Dolly, PJ Mods. Hey, Alba, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. So either way we look at it, this is good news. He's off the street, at least for a little while, right? And if he gets a bond, I don't think he's going to be running so quickly to jump on the media now when they say, hey, well, why did you sexually assault this woman? He's going to be like, nope, I ain't doing interviews. You won't see him popping up in chat rooms no more, trying to run interference. And, he was putting together these little secret groups and stuff like that, right? Like where he was basically trying to run a narrative on the internet. He kind of was like, he was putting his own group together, kind of like some of these other people have done, like in the Sebastian Rogers case, like in the Summer Wells case. They have their people that are for them, and then they have the internet, which is against them. You're number 465. We got 800 people in the room. I'm bringing y'all good news today. Breaking news. Don't make me do the spirit fingers. Okay. Now the likes are going to shoot up, right? They're going to shoot straight up. Spirit fingers. So anyway, he is off the street, and, let's think about it. Just the inconsistencies in his statements, right? Daniel Martell came up onto the internet and basically said 3 different stories. He gave the story to the internet. He had a different story for the media, and he had a different story for the RCMP. But yet you're 494. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. When you like the video, throw what number like you was in the chat room. Okay. So he basically came up, and told the media, we think the kids were abducted. They could be anywhere. Check the airports. Go here. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't wander off. They're good kids. We're the greatest parents in the world. We never let them go outside by themselves, but they just happened to slip out this day. And then he came up and told YouTube, Malaya was in the driveway with the babies. My mama heard a car pull up, and then the kids were gone. They're on a native First Nation. I don't want to get it wrong because people are funny in Canada about their natives. First Nation, and they took the kids to a reservation, and she's hiding them, but I believe the kids are okay. She came in and she took my sweaters, but if they find the bodies of Jack and Lily, them sweaters were planted. The biggest red flag ever. Y'all remember him saying that? He said that in this chat room, that his sweaters were missing. If they find the bodies of Jack and Lily and them sweaters are there, they were planted. Who the hell says something like that? Who? Nobody that I know would say nothing like that, especially not no innocent person. And then, of course, he's giving a different story to the police. Me and Malaya woke up. The kids had slipped out. So there's 3 different stories. And then you got the RCMP saying, well, we don't think none of the parents are suspects at this time. Dumbass police. How dumb can you be, right? If somebody don't go down there and say, hey, they broke the law and he tried to grab my cheeks, they don't do nothing, right? Because listen, what's the chances you finding that baby in the middle of nowhere in a rural area? Even here in the States, when kids go missing in like Tennessee and stuff like that, and in the mountains, it's hardly ever that you find them because there's so many places that you could hide a body. Okay, just so many places that you could hide a body. So the chances of, these search parties actually stumbling across where these people possibly hid Jack and Lily Sullivan. And you got to remember, they know this area. They grew up in this area. They've been out in those woods their whole life, right? They've been all around those woods. They know every inch of it. They know every hiding spot. And you notice that the pink blanket was found next to an ATV trail. We remember that the ATV, Daniel's brother, didn't act like he cared at all that Jack and Lily was missing. He was just lounging out. I'm thinking him and Malaya is guilty and the kids missing, in my opinion. I agree with you, Buckeyes. I agree with you. Both of them are definitely responsible for the disappearance of this kid. They were both together. They were both probably doing illegal substances together. We know that, according to Malaya, that Daniel was doing the Breaking Bad all the way from the time Meadow was born. And even the day that Jack and Lily disappeared, that the family was there and they got to fighting because he was in the bathroom doing the Breaking Bad. Okay. And I ain't talking about the dance. All right. I'm talking about he went in there doing the electric slide unless he was sliding over to his fix. Okay. He was in the bathroom getting high as hell and it caused a big fight. And then, of course, I guess that's when Malaya left. But what mother, okay, goes in day one, lawyers up on day one, and just leaves her child, pulls a full damn Katie Proudfoot, and just abandons her kids. Don't stick around to see if they find the children. Leaves her car. They had to tow her car. She didn't even move her car. She was like, give my shit. I am out. Okay. That don't happen in missing. Usually when people go missing, even families ain't getting along, they'll come together for the sake of the child or in this case, children that are missing. I mean, it's bad enough when one kid goes missing, but when 2 kids go missing, and I see red flags, definitely look, there was a million red flags in this case. We took one day where we just went over all the red flags in different cases, right? And because I believe there should be no missing cases. Hold on, I'm getting something from my producer. Let me check out what it is real fast. Rumor is he is on house arrest, but nothing else will be officially released. Okay, so people are saying he's on house arrest. Hold on, let me look at this. We can confirm that on January 26th at approximately 11:30 a.m., Pictou County arrested 34-year-old Daniel Robert Martell of Lansdowne. He is facing the following charges: assault, sexual assault, and forcible confinement. The charges are involving an adult victim. He is due in court on March 2nd. No further details will be released. Okay, now people are saying that he's on house arrest. I got some other stuff here. Let me see what this is. Mr. Martell was not immediately available for comment. He has been released from custody on conditions and is due in Pictou Providence Court on March 2nd. More to come. Okay, so it appears that he's out on some type of house release. Let me see what this next one is. Hold on. He was charged with assault, sexually assault, and forcible confinement of an adult, says RCMP. Statement released Thursday afternoon. They can confirm that he was arrested. They're still investigating the disappearance of Jack and Lily. So it appears that he has been released. Now, this is just still rumor. So, but it does appear he probably has been released. So, damn, they just let you out. You can actually sexually assault somebody. Well, I guess you're innocent to proven guilty, even in Canada, right? So apparently he's at the house on house arrest. He was actually just the mother's boyfriend. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he wasn't the stepfather, technically. But I mean, if they have common law marriage, I don't know what the deal is there in Canada, to be honest, but he is out of custody, house arrest. That don't mean he ain't going to jail, though. You know, whoever's accusing him right now, he's just accused. We know that people can say you've done anything. That don't mean you've done it. Okay. But to arrest you on those type of charges, there must have been some type of evidence to bring him up on charges like that. Which, you know, not good charges. But we knew, I mean, did anybody think this was a really good guy? He tried to play it off on the internet and like he's the only one looking, he's the only one that cares on both sides of the family. But we knew that was just a front. Okay. We knew that was a front, that he wasn't as good as he says. And we knew they wasn't the Brady Bunch family that they claim to be. We knew that. I mean, I knew that. I was like, okay, ain't nobody that good. You know, they're lying. They're, you know, there's more to this story. And I still believe that. I still believe that him and Malaya know what happened to these kids. If you put them in jail and you told them you wasn't going to let them out, he's on conditions, not house arrest. Okay. Well, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Report to the PO, call in, whatever it may be. But he got locked up. He's charged with, nothing changes the fact he's been charged with sexual assault. And, you know, that carries prison time. So Daniel Martell might be on his way to prison. I mean, even if he's out today, that don't mean he's going to remain out. What if he breaks the conditions? What if he does something else? I mean, this is a guy that's on, allegedly, and what people are saying, that he's on drugs. And, you know, when these people start doing this Breaking Bad, you know, these bouncing off the wall type of hugs, we'll say hugs, they do erratic stuff. And I'm sure they're looking for a way to get him off the street anyway. Is he really in a hospital? So the hospital Malaya is in probably reported what Malaya told them, hence the charges and arrest on Daniel. I don't think this has nothing to do with sexual assault on his girlfriend, his baby mama. They ain't going to come arrest you for that. They got kids together. What the hell? How the hell are you going to convict somebody of that assault? This is somebody else. It says on an adult. I don't think this has anything to do with Malaya being in the hospital. Malaya's full of shit. Okay, that woman is just a total liar. She gave almost the same interview as Chris Watts did. You know, she's never shed a tear for her kids. You think anybody's believing anything that she says? Would you know what I'm saying? Nobody's believing her. So I believe this to be with somebody totally different. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. That it's somebody totally different than what people have been alleging. Because if they were going to arrest her, they would have did that 9 months ago. Okay, she would have said that to them 9 months ago. The hospital's not reporting something to the police, and then they're not going to arrest you. And if Malaya's in a hospital, I don't believe nothing these people are saying. They've been trying to push a narrative, and all it is these people are trying to avoid from going to prison. Choo. Thank you, Dolly, PJ Mods in chat. Alba, thank you for getting on the Blessed Express. You ain't blessed unless you on the Express. Now, like I said, him getting locked up, this is just putting more pressure on him, and he's eventually going to prison forever anyway. So I'm thinking he knows he's going to prison for Jack and Lily. Deep down inside, he knows he's going to eventually get caught. And this arrest, what does he have to lose? You know what I'm saying? And so he's undid something else horrible. And listen, when you're a bad person, you're going to continue to do bad things. And I expect to see him doing even more. But I say we get him off the street before there's any more kids missing, anybody else gets hurt. These people are a threat to society. Loyal Turtle Gang, since you started, love you both. Gail, thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us today. But when I heard this news, I was like, hell yeah. But what sucks, like I said, if he's not in jail, which it appears he's not, that he's been released on these conditions and he's home, but he still has court March 2nd. And, just like the legal system, it takes a long time to convict somebody. They just unsealed records, maybe something in there. Lady girl. Okay, well, I'll have PJ look for that and we'll find out what is going on with it. But how many people think he's innocent? Anybody think he's innocent out there? That Daniel wouldn't SA nobody. He wouldn't lock them in the house. It almost seems like the charges that Ashley Buzzard was arrested with. What's up, Doug? Hey, from Tennessee. Doug's watching on Facebook. Thank you for everybody watching on Facebook. Yeah. Got himself in a world of trouble. Okay. Okay. He's in Canada and knows stuff. He said the charges carry lots of time. He is in here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, these charges in the United States carry a lot of time. You go to jail for sexually assault, you ask you get 25 years to life. I mean, and then you got the forced confinement. That basically is kidnapping. That's just a nice way to say you kidnapped somebody. You wouldn't let them leave. And then you got, of course, a regular assault for holding them there. So, yeah, he's in a world of trouble. 10 to 15 years each. Yeah, he it's not looking good for old Daniel Martell. And I mean, like I said, I think, he probably was in there smoking. Well, however he chooses to do that Breaking Bad. And, these people, they don't sleep. They go full Ziggy and Fred Hill. And they stay up for days and days at a time to where their mind ain't right. They're hearing voices, shadow people, and damn dancing across the walls and stuff. And then they do something stupid. And he's done this. And like I said, I knew instantly that he was a pervy ass dude because, like I said, he was just with his baby mama. And as soon as she's gone, he's done slid up in the DMs like this, sliding on in. And I was like, okay, so, that's how I knew instantly that, him and Malaya, he was talking about how much he loved Malaya and cared about Malaya. I was like, I don't know. You may love that woman, but you trying to get some squeeze on the side. AB is in Canada. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we have seen them say 10 to 15 years on each one of those charges. And that's about, well, assault here, if it's misdemeanor assault, it carries only up to a year in jail. Okay. Like if you punch somebody here in the face in the States and it's only assault, you can only do a year in jail. It don't carry prison time. Aggravated assault carries prison time. You can do up like 5. And, but SA here, of course, felony charges can carry 25 to life. So, yeah, serious. What he's charged with is serious crimes. This ain't no, I was speeding down the road with no driver's license. This is basically, hey, I didn't try to force myself onto a woman. And this is what, has happened. So I don't, like I said, we don't know the circumstances, but I'm sure the internet will dig them out here today. By tonight, we'll know exactly what happened. It's also a window to what happened to Jack and Lily in their, yeah, think about that. If you're going to sex assault an adult, how do we know he wasn't, I don't even want to say it, but you know what I'm thinking right now. Everybody know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking, press 1 and like this video. Okay, like the video anyway, but if you thinking what I'm thinking, press 1 in the chat. If he'll do this to an adult, how we know he won't? See what I'm saying? Without even saying it. You're thinking, okay, you're not a good dude. If you'll hurt one person, what makes you think you won't hurt another person? You got to remember, Jack and Lily were walking around with black eyes. What did Daniel get arrested for? If you're just tuning in, Daniel Martell was arrested for 3 counts: assault, SA, and forcible confinement, which means he basically locked somebody in a house and wouldn't let them leave. So basically just a fancy word for kidnapping. Here, if you don't let somebody leave and you hold them against their will, it's kidnapping. So forcible confinement, kidnapping. So yeah, Sage has posted it right here. He has been arrested. He has been charged. From what the news is saying, he's been released on some conditions, and he has court March 2nd, Pictou County. I almost want to get a passport. I almost want to be there for that. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And like I said, if you're able to hurt somebody else, how do we know you wasn't hurting these children? And I mean, just as the stuff that's coming out. Yeah, but Ashley Buzzard was smart enough to record what was going on. Does Daniel Martell look like a smart guy to you? Let's look at him. Does he look like a smart guy? I mean, he's making terrible decisions in life, right? Does he look like somebody that's making the best decisions? I don't think so. I don't think so. I hope they got it on video of him being arrested, that those videos come out. I don't think you can subpoena body cam footage like you can here for your request from Canada. I don't think they have that. They don't have the same constitution. So I don't think we could see the footage of him being arrested, but I would love to see when they ran up to his dirty ass trailer, probably tripped over an oven in the front yard and arrested him. This is my travel fund, guys, that Sage has posted. I don't think he posted the link, Sage. But if you give to that travel fund, make sure you throw red stop signs in the chat so I can personally thank you. That's how we're able to get to the places that we do go to cover everything live. We have a travel fund. It's a give, send, go. And if you got a couple bucks, throw it in there. It really helps. It helped us cover the Jonathan Bowley case. That was the last one we went to. And because airline tickets and everything are so expensive right now. I don't know what's going on with the airlines, but the airlines are twice as much as they were last year on every ticket. Don't matter. I don't care if you're trying to go down the street. They're crazy high. So for everybody that donates to that Give, Send, Go, thank you so much. Fun to Craft Coffee for PJ. She's always on the job. What about Dolly? What about the damn Dolly? Okay. I ain't always on the job. What about me? Okay. Judy, red stop signs. Did you donate to that, Judy? If you did, thank you so much. You're great. Big virtual hugs to you. That's how we know when you throw the red stop signs in the chat, because it's not like a super chat. It don't pop up on the screen and let me know that you donated. And thank you for becoming a member. I can't see your name. I'm sorry. I see it says something like S7M. Monthly donation. Okay. You've been doing it monthly? Thank you so much. Bless your heart. Big virtual hugs. Thank you. Let me see if I can see your name. Jody. I hope I got that right. I hope I didn't mess it up. I ain't even wiped the crust out my eyes from waking up yet today. Okay. Give me a second. You're number 697. Well, thank you for liking the video as you come in. But yeah, Terrible Rose says, for Lolo and Wrangler, they're always on the job. Milfy. Thank you, Milfy. I hope I said your name right. Milfy. Super sticker. You guys are great. But yeah, for me, any day that one of these monsters go to jail, and it would have been a lot better if he hadn't have got out, if they just held him there. You know, that's what I was hoping. When I heard it, I was like, okay, he's in jail. You know, just, you know, at least he's going to sit there and rot until they find Jack and Lily, or somebody talks, or maybe somebody's scared of them and they don't want to talk because, you know, they're scared of repercussions or something like that. I feel Malaya is so quiet because she knows more. Absolutely, Malaya knows more. Okay, if Malaya ain't the one responsible, I mean, I don't think either one of these people. But the only thing that I look at in the whole Malaya thing is, you know, when we see pictures of Jack and Lily before Daniel, the kids were all clean. They looked all nice. Everything looked good. And then we see, of course, pictures once they got together. Now the kids' hair's not brushed. The kids look disheveled. The kids don't look very well taken care of. And before that, they looked fine. You're number 899. Thank you. Let's see if we can get this video to 1,000 likes. Because listen, I hope y'all just as happy as me that, you know, this man is going to be taken off the streets. He's going to be taken off the streets because I believe the charges are legitimate, because I don't think this guy's a good guy. And I've been saying this stuff for 9 months that he's not a good guy. So it just goes to say, well, I was right once again. Okay, I wasn't wrong that these people, listen, I don't know a lot in this world, but I know a monster when I see one. Okay? It's just one of those things that I do have skills in. Justice is coming, says A Balance. I believe so too. I believe justice is coming. You may be able to get away with some things, but you can't get away with everything. And this man thought, well, if I got away with murder, I can get away with being touchy-feely and keeping a woman prisoner. Well, it says he's out on some conditions. Okay, I don't know the conditions. Are you cold, Dolly? No, I'm not cold. I actually got a heater pointing right at me, right here by my feet. So I'm definitely not cold. Why? Because I'm wearing the sweatshirt? No, I just like this sweatshirt. It's comfortable. It has like a fuzzy inside, and it's really comfortable to wear. And I get cold easy because, you know, I take medicines to thin my blood. So it don't take much to get me cold. And when I get cold, it's hard for me to warm back up. So, yeah, since I had that heart attack last year, I get cold really, really easy. So I try not to get cold. And this studio is not the warmest. The heat don't circulate real good back here. So I try to tend to dress a little more warmer when I'm in the studio. But even in the living room, I dress warm. I just, like I said, I don't like to be cold. PJ will let you know, like I try to, and I keep everything hot. Like in the summertime, I don't use the AC a lot. I like hot weather. I like to be really warm. I'm not big on the cold. I'm ready for summertime to hit right now. Okay. That's why, like I didn't go out to Minnesota and nothing to cover the protest. I looked out there, it was like -20. I was like, yeah, don't go missing in Alaska or nothing, because a dolly ain't coming to look for you. I'm going to let you know now. If you go missing somewhere where the temperature I can survive, I will come look for you. But if you go missing in Antarctica, Alaska, damn, anywhere that's freezing ass cold, yeah, you got lesser odds of me coming to try to find you. All right. You love the hot weather too. Yeah, I'm from the South. I'm from Georgia. Like, the street's hot. It's just hot red clay, like being from Mars. So, like, Virginia weather's not bad, but there is a few months of the year that it gets pretty damn cold, and I'm not a big fan of that. Arkansas has been freezing. Shoot, I'm late. Meemaw, 81, just tuning in late. Well, if you're just tuning in, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Daniel Martell was arrested on Monday, 11:30 a.m. He was charged with 3 counts: assault, sexual assault, and forcible confinement. It seems like he has been released on certain conditions. He appears in Pictou County Court on March 2nd. So that is the breaking. All right. Everybody's like, Dolly, you goes, oh, why is you should always breaking news? Because I'm breaking news. Well, at least today. Okay, at least today. Not every day, but at least today, I didn't clickbait you. Okay, he did get arrested. It's actual facts. But he should have been arrested anyway. Him and Malaya should be in jail anyway. Does anybody agree with that? Press 1 in the chat. You agree that him and Malaya should be in jail anyway, because we know that, right? Most people ain't stupid. We know that these kids didn't just vanish, and the way they acted, and you got witnesses saying they seen Daniel driving around at 1:30 in the morning in his vehicle, but yet he was supposedly home in bed. I don't believe them kids went missing that morning. I believe they went missing after they went into town that night. When they were seen in town, I think they went missing that same night, that Thursday night. Was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, because they didn't send the kids to school on Friday. She called them out Friday. So I think it was Thursday night. Hey, Heather, whatever. Watching from the bushes at work. Well, thanks for tuning in. But, listen, this man may be free right now, but he won't be free for long, especially if there's something to it. And like I said, I think there's something to it, because I just think the dude's a scumbag, and just the way he acted in line, and, oh, I ain't on drugs. And, since he passed that lie detector test, which we all know that damn serial killers have passed lie detector tests. That's why they can't use them in court. Another person that passed a lie detector test, Stacy Wandra. He's in jail right now for murdering Michael Monkey Vaughn. Took one, says he passed it. So we know they can't be used, but ever since he took that lie detector test, he's been all cocky, and his whole attitude has changed to the police ain't doing nothing. Gary Widgway passed a lie detector test. There you go. He the damn Green River Killer. So I've never really trusted it. I wish they would stop giving people them bullshit tests. Dolly, I used to come in very long time ago and didn't talk much because the drama was just goofy. I want to say you look much healthier and happier now. PJ must be doing something right for you. Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. It's still a little drama. It's hard to get into these cases where there's not drama, because there's people that cover these cases that have they're loaded with drama. And they like to, you have to address it. Like if these people wasn't involved, you wouldn't have to bring their drama into true crime. But when there's people that are suspects in a case, and then they marry somebody that runs a damn drama channel, there's no way not to talk about a drama channel. And then once you talk about one of them, it's an open invitation for them to use your name to make money off of you. So it's still hard to get away from these people, right? Because they insert themselves into damn everything, and they only use true crime for their drama, because nobody, there's, well, no, there's fans of drama. There's some drama channels out here that, they have thousands of people in the room, but at the same token, their subscriber count's very low, right? Like there's a big audience for it. It's just not a huge audience like there is for other things in YouTube, like certain sectors. Like true crime has a big audience, drama has a smaller audience, but they try to blend that so they can get some of the true crime people over there. And then really, like, most of these channels that started off crime are full drama now. They don't even do crime anymore, which is good. I wish they all would just stick to what they do. Like, if you're going to do drama, right? Don't try to mix the two together. That's where it gets a little, and then us crime people, we got to deal with your ass. All right. Because I'm way more concerned about, like, Daniel Martell going to jail than BJ falling asleep on a damn podcast. Okay. That's, that don't, what good would I look like talking about BJ every day? That's fucking boring. Right. To me, it's more important to cover these cases of these missing kids, use the platform for something good. So, like I said, I try not to address it as much, but sometimes you have to, the long answer. That was a long version. What was the charges against him regarding against Malaya's claims? I don't think he's charged with anything to do with Malaya. People are speculating right now, and they're thinking, well, Malaya's in the crazy hospital, and she told him that, I don't think that's the case. Because right as soon as she left, Daniel Martell was sliding in the DMs of other women. And I believe it's one of these other women that he has done this to. And she just went down there and reported it, and they arrested him. So I don't think it has nothing to do with Malaya. So that's my opinion. And that's just speculation. Like I said, I could be wrong at this time. I don't know. These are just, this is a developing story. So as more information comes out in the story, I'll have more information for you guys. But right now, we just know he was arrested. It appears that he's been released. He has been charged with 3 counts of assault, sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Now, I don't think that has anything to do with Malaya, because Malaya was just able to leave. Okay, and we're talking 9 months later. So if she was going to go down there and take these charges out on him, she probably already would have. And basically, how do you sexually assault your baby mama? I mean, it's possible, I guess. I guess it's possible. I mean, I know it's possible, but I don't think that's what's going on. What the F? Daniel Martell was arrested for SA? Yes. Helena has just gifted 5 memberships. So if you got a membership, make sure you thank Helena. She's rattling the bushes. Okay. Because usually that's when bush watchers get memberships. So we get to see who's in the bushes when people gift memberships. It'll rattle you right out the bush. Okay. Boop, right into the chat room. Finally, something. It ain't exactly what we wanted. Okay. It ain't exactly what we wanted, but I would have to say it is absolutely better than nothing. Okay. Now they have something to hold over his head. Let's just say he's covering for Malaya. All right. Detectives go to him and say, hey, look, you're facing 20 years Canadian prison, which ain't the same as American prison. Canadian prisons are a little nice. They probably feed you better. I had a buddy that was Canadian prison, and he was like, it ain't like American prison. So 20 years in prison, or you tell on Malaya. What do you think he's going to do? This nice guy we're looking at right here. You think he's going to do 20 years from Malaya when he's already sliding in the DMs of other chicks? Or is he going to tell? Right? Now they have something to hold over his head. Okay? Now they have, I just came in, what has he been arrested for? He's been arrested for assault, sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Okay. He's unlocked somebody in the house and tried to grab a cheek. And he's done. So, but it does appear he is out. Okay. On some type of conditions. Now, I don't know what those conditions are. You think he's talking? Maybe that's why they let him out. If he does know something and he's not responsible, you can believe he is going to talk. Well, I hope that's the case anyway, that if he knows, he's going to talk, because, if he's facing, let's just say he's faced, people from Canada saying 10 to 15 years on each charge, but I doubt the assault charge carries 10 to 15 years, but the SA and the forcible confinement may, right? Yeah, he's in trouble. He could face up to 20 years, right? Or more. Is that enough to make him talk? As it gets closer to court and he feels like he's going to prison, will he strike a deal with the prosecutor saying, hey, I'll tell? But if he played any part in the death of Jack and Lily, would he want to talk? Because you're talking about the difference between 20 years and life. I'd rather do 20 years in prison than sit in prison the rest of my life. Now, me, old as I am, 20 years probably would be my life, right? But for him, well, he's in his 30s. He got a little bit of ways to live. You know what I'm saying? He's actually a young guy. He's not even an old man. He's a younger dude. The way Dolly Vision talks makes me giggle. Don't grab a cheek, people. Don't do it. Whatever you do, ask for permission before you get the cheeks. Okay. Be like, look, can I get the cheeks? And if they say, yeah, you good to get the cheeks. But if they say no, don't touch the cheeks. Hands off the cheeks. Okay. I don't know what the man done. Okay. But it's, we know what is in nature of. He tried to do something, force himself onto somebody. And in this world we live in, that's a serious thing. Okay. Serious, don't touch. That even goes for Dolly. Okay. Don't touch me. Don't even get near me. I don't like people close. I need, I love the COVID time when you had to keep 6 feet back from everybody. I'm like that. Like, stay your damn distance from me, because I don't want you all close like that. So I don't know. And I don't think it's one of the girls that I know that he was in their DMs, because they never hit me back and said anything. And I think they would tell me, they told me that he was contacting. I thought that was weird, because, it's kind of like, when people feel sorry for you, they're bad for you, they want to, comfort you because you're missing your child or you're going through something, and they're like, oh, yeah, that don't mean they like you. Some guys have a weird thing about reading women. Like, when somebody's just comforting you and being a nice person, that don't mean they want to sleep with you. Okay. Now, some men think if you're nice to them, that you're trying to give up the cheeks. Okay. They think that. They just like, oh, she's nice. She must like me. They think they're something better than what they are, and, cause I was watching these shows about these old ass men that were hitting up girls on the internet that were like, well, they were adults, but they were saying they were young, and they were trying to get up with these young girls. And I was thinking to myself, what 70-year-old man thinks a 16-year-old girl wants to date him? Like, in your head must be so warped that you think that this young girl actually wants your old ass. Okay. Like, are you really that stupid? Okay. Are you really that stupid? Now, there may be some younger women out there that like older guys, and vice versa. But I mean, there's like a limit, I think, to that, or basic, like, not a stranger. Maybe y'all build a relationship and there's a big age difference, but like, just for a total stranger to want to get up with like an 80-year-old man, it is bizarre. Dolly Vision, you're a legend. What you do is amazing. Jen's, thank you. Sugar Sweet. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here with me, each and every one of you. You know, I'm into true crime, and it's good to have so many people that share the same passion as me. So we get to come up here on the good days and, of course, the bad days, you know. And today there was some good news. There's been an arrest, and it ain't what we want, but hey, I like the word. You know, I like to see justice, and we didn't have nothing to hold over his head. RCMP, now they got something to hold over his head. I'm just hoping that this leads to what happened to Jack and Lily. I know it has nothing to do with Jack and Lily other than the fact it's the mom's boyfriend. But I'm just hoping anything, any clue, anything that happens may possibly lead us to answers in the Jack and Lily case. That's all I want is the kids found, you know, and whoever responsible to pay for what has happened, you know, and when there is some type of justice, you know, I celebrate it because, you know, when there's sadness, I got to sit here and cry. So when there's something good, I want to take advantage of that goodness, right? Because we don't get it much. So anytime there's good news in true crime, it's like, hell yeah. I mean, I don't care if he went to jail for running a red light. I'm celebrating it. Okay. I'm celebrating it like it's the best thing ever because, you know, there'll be a day when it comes and they're like, today we recovered the bodies of so and so and so and so. And we also got to report that. And we don't get to celebrate that. That's when everyone's get to sit around and be just sad and depressed about how could people hurt these kids? How could families hurt these children? And, you know, I hate to just quote statistics, right? But the statistics are that people who hurt you are most likely the people closest to you. And we see this so much here on this channel because we cover cases we believe to be foul play. And what is it? 98% of the time, you know, I'm going to give it that 2.02%, you know, that Dolly could be wrong, but 98% of the time we're right. It is the families and it is the person that's close to the people and that hurt these people. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Like most of us, it's hard. It was so hard for me to understand these things when I came in because I was loved as a kid. I wasn't abused. I wasn't, you know, none of that. So to see people that can just hurt their kids is hard. You have to have some mental health problems. I know that, but being crazy is still not an excuse because you could always reach out for help. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're crazy, it don't really give you an excuse, you know, and you know, the bad thing about this world is as a human being, we don't get to pick what family we're born into. Okay. Some of us are born into wealthy families. Some of us are born into broke ass families. Like, you know, some people are born into loving families. Don't matter about money because love is totally different. You can be live in a cardboard box, and if your family loves you, you'll have a good life. When you take that love out, it don't matter if you live in a mansion. Let's look at like Katie Chris living in a $700,000-$800,000 home, and there just don't appear to be no love there. In my opinion, it's you're going to have tragedy anytime you take love out of anything in life. Okay. Why do we do the things we do? Because we love our family. So we support our families. Love basically controls everything that happens in your life. Take that out. And what life do you have with no love? Not a very good one. Not a very good one. You're going to have a lot of loneliness and no real mission in life. It's just getting so complicated. Why did it even need to be like this? Listen, Why is the world so ugly today? I think people are desensitized to violence. We're so used to seeing violence that when it happens, we're not shocked. And we're like, oh, hell no, right? Because we're so used to seeing it. People become desensitized. And violence is promoted now instead of frowned upon like it was when I was a little kid. You couldn't show the stuff you show on TV now, right? You couldn't show that. There were standards, there was morals, and there was values. Somewhere along the years, all that shit went out the window, and you got people that are confused and have mental health problems. But now they're part of our society, and they're pushing that on people without getting political. Okay, I'm trying to say this without it being anything political, but there's certain groups of people that have made our world the way it is. Dolly, I haven't been in a while. I see you play button on the wall. Just like the video games you play nowadays, they're disgusting and they're gross. Well, video games, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say nothing bad about video games because I play video games. If you have mental health, the problem is people with mental health problems playing video games. If you have mental health problems, you shouldn't play video games, violent video games. All right. Now, if you don't have no mental health problems, then you can distinguish entertainment from real violence, then you're good. Okay. Like I play Fortnite. Is it probably the best thing for kids? Probably not. Or adults. I play it, but is it the best thing for anybody? Probably not, because you're running around, playing a game of war. Okay, but even when I was a kid, kids, we would play with toy guns and play war. Okay? Even as a kid. What boy didn't run around with toy guns and play like war and cops and robbers and things like that? It's not that. I think the biggest problem is movies and TV. I think it's a way bigger problem than, of course, video games, right? I think it's a way worse problem than video games. Some of these things are so acceptable today that wasn't acceptable before. Okay. And, they take God out of everything. And I think you got to have morals and values and a solid belief system. And if you take out that solid belief system, then you take out morals and values. Because your belief system is what gives you those morals and those values to be a good person. Now you get rid of that, and what do you got? You have no punishment for your actions, no consequences for your actions. And most people are good people because they don't want consequences in the next life or where you ascend to when we leave this planet. But if you don't believe that you're going to ascend to somewhere else and that this just ends here, then what reason do you have to try to be a good human? And here's the thing. It's hard to be a good person, right? It's hard. You have to work to be a good person. Every day, people challenge you. They test your nerves. They test your patience. They test everything. It is hard to be a good person. It's way easier to be a sleazebag. It takes no work. You can do whatever you want. Don't care about what people think or feel. It's easy. Look at YouTube. Look how many sleazy channels there are. Because it's easy. It's easy to be a dirtbag. It's hard. You got to really work to be good. You know how many times I wanted to tell people just to F off, and I had to go, okay, Let me back up. Let me calm down. Let me take a breath. What would Jesus do? Right? You know how many times I've had to do that? Like so much. And so do each and every one of you every day. Right? So for every good person out here, thank you, because I know how hard you have to work to be a good human being. Right? And then once, of course, you're a good human being, it's just a natural thing. You don't even think about it. It's your morals, your values, who you are, and you just a good person. But you had to work to become that good person. I know that, right? Because I know it's a lot easier just to be a dirtbag. I do that every day, Dolly. I grew up with no love from my mother, and it was horrible, Dolly. But now I have 3 girls and 11 grandkids, and anyone hurts my baby girls, they better run, Dolly. But there you go. And like I said, you take the love out of it, it makes life a lot rougher. I ain't saying it makes life impossible. I'm just saying it makes it a lot rougher. And you got to have that love. You got to be a loving, caring, forgiving, patient person in this world we live in. And is the world getting any better? No, I think it's getting worse, to be honest. So, I mean, good people have to continue to fight 24 hours. You got to put in overtime as a good person now because the world has gotten so bad. And it's like, I'm just glad I was from the generation that I was from, right? Because I think newer generations, it's just a lifestyle and what they're, because I believe everybody's a sponge. I truly do. I think we're like all SpongeBob. I'm Sponge Dolly. You know what I'm saying? They're Sponge Mab. Everybody's a sponge. You're a product of your environment. You soak up everything around you. Okay. And if you're around bad, you're going to soak up a bunch of bad. But if you only get around good, you're going to suck in all that good. Now, I ain't saying that you can be, good people don't have a bad offspring every now and then. Just because you good don't mean everybody around you is going to be good. Some people are just inherently evil. Or they become bad for some reason, or they may have some mental health problems. So, but most of the time, if you got good people, the people around them are going to be good people. If you got a mixture of people, you may have some good, you may have some bad, it may be a little more mixed up, because I do believe that people are products of their environment, and the environment we live in right now is effed up. Okay, there's stuff on the internet that if you watch, your eyes will melt. I mean, just think about, and I talk about serial killers all the time because I'm into true crime, but Ted Bundy said that softcore porn, Playboy and stuff like that made him have these fantasies about women. Then he started, murdering them. Think about what's on the internet now and what it's doing to kids' minds when they're seeing people being tortured, and different, humiliated. They think this is the norm. They think this is normal, and it ain't. Right? So it totally, I believe, messes up kids' minds of what reality actually is. Okay? Now there's some people out there with some strange things that they're into, but now your kids are able to see it. Like things they may have never knew about, or as some adults don't even need to know about, right? Like some of this shit I see nowadays, I'm like, what the hell is, you know what I'm saying? It shocks me still to this day. Right? I can only imagine, and I've seen some pretty bad stuff. I can only imagine what some of these things that I see on the internet could do to a young person's mind. Okay. I honestly believe we're breeding serial killers, breeding them. We are destroying minds. Kids are so confused these days. They don't know if they're boys. They don't know if they're girls. They don't even know if they're kids. Okay. Kids' minds are all over. They don't know what the hell's going on. Okay. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. The stuff that are being pushed on the children these days in this world we live in is absolutely insane. It's madness, right? It's madness. You think parents would have let this go in the early 80s? You would have had people, like I remember when they were burning records in the street and shit, dragging Jeffrey Dahmer's stuff out the house, burning it in the street. No, you got people that celebrate this type of chaos these days. Think about a time where somebody could get assassinated and people would be out there laughing and celebrating the assassination of somebody. Y'all, anybody remember that? Anybody remember it? That only happens now, right? You get killed, people would usually cry, be sad, upset. People get assassinated now, people are cheering in the streets, dancing. Our world is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And there's no signs of it getting better, right? And all these people talking about change, and that's why I hate politics. I'm like, man, the world don't matter who you vote for and what you do. Society is horrible. It's horrible. And it's creating horrible people. Each generation seems to get worse. I come from an era where when grown people talked, you didn't talk. You respected older folks. Does that shit happen today? Hell no. The kids are horrible. I mean, horrible. Video game, PlayStation has raised more kids than most parents. Your kid is raised by Grand Theft Auto 5, okay? But what respect you think that kid's going to have for human life and people in general when damn PlayStation's raising them? None. Zero. Okay? People running around knocking out old people for fun. What happened to respecting people? Respect your elders and be a good human being, and just the amount of drugs and killer drugs that are on the street, destroying people and destroying families. I mean, yeah, there was drugs way back in the day, but tell me it ain't 1,000 times worse now. You remember in the 80s, they had the crack epidemic? Kids, mamas just leaving their kids, stealing, going to prison. So many people in the 80s were raised by grandparents and aunts and uncles, and because of the crack epidemic, now you got the bad stuff that kills everybody. I mean, just the world has gotten so much HIV in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, there was a point, and I think the 80s was it. The late 80s. I think that's when everything changed. I think from the 60s, I mean, it slowly started changing in the 70s, when we left to leave it the Beaver era, and mothers had to start going out and working and things like that. And there wasn't no real home structure anymore. And anybody can say that, oh, Dolly, you foolish. No, I listen, there was a time when men could go out and work and they could provide for their whole family. They could send their kids to college. They could have food in the refrigerator, have a decent car in the driveway. I ain't talking about being rich. I'm talking about just providing with one job, one man, 8 hours a day, work hard working man could easily take care of his family. That is gone. That don't exist in the day we live in today. You one dude, oh hell no, your wife got to work. You got to get your kids at 15. They better go out and get a job. I mean, it's a totally different society that we live in. Nobody's home because everybody's at work. PlayStation's raising the kid. So we got greedy. It ain't that we got greedy. It's inflation, and the world has changed, and people had to do what they can do to survive and to provide. It's naturally, like I said, as a man, it's natural for you to be a provider, right? Because what's my biggest worries? Financially. Because I want to provide. I want my family to be comfortable. I want the heat on. I want the lights on. I want their food in the fridge. So all your worries and stress come from that. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, there ain't no other way to explain it. And is that going to change? No. No matter how much bitching I do about it, it ain't going to change. I'm just saying cause and effect, right? You look back and say, okay, well, the world used not to be like this. What changed to make it so bad? And I would say that's it. It's when they destroyed the home structure and took God out of everything. And people lost morals, and people don't have good values anymore. They make poor decision making, and like, I think there's more of that than there is good. And you can't let bad win. We need more good people. I mean, it's as simple as that. We need more good people. And how do you get good people? But by doing the right things. But if you got more people being born and they don't give a damn, we're getting outnumbered. The good is getting outnumbered by the bad. Family values. It sounds stupid, but I guarantee you, if it was still that way, you would have way more good people. The world would be a better place, you know. And we got a little off track from Daniel Martell going to jail, okay? And hopefully he gets his ass sent to prison on March 2nd, which it won't be March 2nd because it'll be, you know, they'll push it back a little bit. But I would say within the year 2026, we're going to watch this dude go to prison, okay? This guy you see right here on the screen, by the end of this year, he will be in prison. So to me, that's a good thing. Now, like I said, you innocent until proven guilty. I just watched a documentary about math that, okay, hold on, I got my glasses. Let me do the best I can. About math that Germany used for soldiers, blitzkrieg, okay, yeah, to fight and kill. No wonder criminals are crazy. Come with the use of it. Yeah. Nazi Germany created this, okay? And it was during the Blitzkrieg era when they were marching into Poland. The reason that Hitler gave it to his soldiers because it lowered their appetite and they didn't have much food. And also they could march all night so they could clear large distances. And this is the era of the Blitzkrieg. And even Metallica wrote a song about it called Blitzkrieg. But that's why they were such alert fighters. Not only were they could march farther, they needed less food, they were more alert because they were on these drugs that were created by Nazi scientists, which basically war criminals, right? And a lot of hallucinogenics and stuff like that were created in Germany. There's a lot of things created in Germany. You know, all these war criminals, this is off topic, but this does deal with crime. They were brought here to America. These same people that built the gas chambers, oh, we can't let them get hurt. Let's put them on an airplane. Let's send them here. They built NASA, okay? They built the weapons we use, our weapon systems. We wouldn't have that for Germany. Missiles, we wouldn't have that with Germany. Space shuttle, hell, if it wasn't for Germany, we wouldn't have that. Okay, because all their scientists were brought here. These people that should have been executed or put in prison for the rest of their life, they came here and built all our government programs. All their scientists. As many as we could. Russia took a lot. Okay, so it wasn't just America that took in war criminals. There was other countries too that took in war criminals. But what they were war criminals. These people should have faced a firing squad. But what they did was got them a big, nice house in America and a nice ass job working for the government is what they did. It's horrible. History is it's terrible. Okay. I mean, history is terrible. If you look back at history, you're going to be like, oh, there was some bad stuff going on in history, right? I mean, just like the war criminals, slavery, just you can go back and farther back you go in history, the worse it was. It's terrible. But listen, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Okay, you're doomed to repeat it, and that's just a fact, right? So, I mean, yes, these substances people are using ain't made by the average people. They're made by scientists. And what's so bad now is is that they're not natural. Okay, these ain't natural substances people are putting into their body. These are chemical compounds. And like China is mass producing stuff that one crumb of it, one little speck of it, will kill 3 people. Way stronger than anything you're going to find in a poppy field, right? Killing people in this country. I mean, we hear the president talk about it. Like, these drugs that are coming into our country, killing people. The drug war is way bigger than just the Venezuela thing. It's a global epidemic, right? And how do you stop these countries, especially countries that are superpowers, from doing these things? There's no way. There's no way unless you want complete destruction of the world. You can't do nothing to China. Okay, you can't. What are you going to do to them? They got ballistic missiles. They got nuclear programs. If you what can you threaten them with? Hey, we'll nuke you. Well, guess what? We'll nuke you back. Then you got total global annihilation. Nobody wants to end the world, right? Nobody wants to end the world. So how do you stop these things from coming into our country when you got people flooding into the country that could be carrying anything? You can't. And there's really nothing you can do. So how do we stop it? Right? How do you stop your sons and your daughters and everybody from dying? Education. Okay, we got to educate our kids that, hey, listen, there could be anything in that. Street drugs ain't what they used to be in the 60s. They ain't what they were in the 70s. These things are created in laboratories, and it could be anything, and you could get this and it kill you. It's bad. That's another bad part of the world. Not only is society messed up, you have this whole big, huge problem that not only that, but that creates psychosis. So let's just say you ain't crazy. You're not. You're good. But then you start doing things that make you crazy. Like, has anybody ever knew somebody that their brain was fried? Like they were a normal person at one time, and then you see them years later and they're just not there. They're like, they done burnt every brain cell, fried every bit of their brain, slam out. Has anybody ever seen somebody like that? So some of these things they'll turn you from a normal person into crazy. Yeah, for 1,000 likes. Oh, we hit 1,000 likes. Parents need to learn that the word no and stick to it regardless of society. Yeah, but we got parents out here. We got kids having kids too. Kids having kids that ain't grown. So what is a kid going to know when it was raised by another kid? I think it takes years of wisdom and life to become an adult. Like when I was 18, I thought I was an adult. Thought I knew everything, even 21. I don't think I started becoming like an adult until I was in my 25, 26 years old. I think my mentality changed, my goals changed, but having a kid, grew me up, too. But I think, your mind's still developing into your 20s, and you ain't an adult. That's how I look at it. I mean, you may be legally an adult, but mentally, you just still a kid, You're 43 and your daughter is 22 and she lives on her own. Awesome. Well, that's one thing, Tiff got her own place pretty fairly quick and, been out on her own. Well, she has a roommate, but she's still on her own. But there's kids now that'll be 40 years old, living right in their parents' basement like it's nothing. Don't have no plans of leaving. Society's just different. But we need, I don't want to get way, I kind of went totally squirrel. Somebody brought it up, but, there's no way to fix it. But Dana Martell's in jail, 3 counts. So he goes to court March 2nd, which to me is great news. And if we could get some answers for Jack and Lily Sullivan, that's what this video is supposed to be about, would be great. Okay, would absolutely be great. Hippies turned out to be bad parents. I don't think all hippies were bad parents. I think most hippies, were like laid back parents. I don't think they turned out to be bad parents. They could have been a little more stricter, maybe. Not so much free flowing and caring, you know what I'm saying? But in that time frame, the world was different. We got to remember that the world changes, people change with the times. And just right now we live in a bad time. Straight lie, whoever said that. Now, listen, there's still people that are hippies today. I think peace, loving, caring people are good people. Okay? If they don't go too far, there has to be a fine line in it with your kids. Of course, you don't want to be your kid's best friend. You have to be your kid's parent. All right? Because the best friend thing is good. And it got to be a mixture of the two. You got to be their best friend and their parent. You got to be able to, set straight guidelines of what you want, of what you expect, and if you don't, and you just you give a kid an inch, they'll take a mile. Yeah. Daniel has court March 2nd. Now, listen, we need to get some of these killers off the damn streets. We do. Okay. And there's a lot of people that probably should be in prison that are not. Now, if I had my way this year, I want to see some answers in, of course, this case, Jack and Lily Sullivan. I want some answers in the Sebastian Rogers case, which is coming up on 2 years in just 27, 28 days. So we're less than a month away from 2 years of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers going missing. Similar circumstances to Jack and Lily, right? Circumstances ain't too much different. The mother was home, the stepfather was on the phone, and a child vanishes. The only difference is this is a 15-year-old child, but of course, special needs, autistic child, and vanishes without a trace. Poof, gone. Not a footprint, not nothing. Some people will tell you different, right? But I'm telling you, vanished without a trace. Nothing. No scent from a dog. Didn't lead to the construction site. Didn't lead to the retention pond. Didn't lead anywhere. Gone. Now, that all depends on what YouTuber you watch. But I'm going to tell you the truth. Vanished. Poof. Gone. Nobody knows nothing. Let me tell you something. That don't happen. That don't happen. Don't happen. There ain't nobody alive that don't leave a trail. They don't leave some evidence behind. Nothing. No dog scent. No nothing. Nothing. The only time people vanish with nothing is when people made them vanish. No sightings. Didn't call anybody. Didn't talk to anybody. Didn't tell anybody he was leaving. That don't happen. Okay? If I was leaving today, I'm going to tell somebody. All right? Now, I had this friend one time, and he was like, he had a family. He had a wife and 2 kids. I went over his house one day. He said, Jimmy, man, I love you, bro. I'll see you in maybe a couple of years or something. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm packing up and leaving. I was like, packing up and leaving? I was like, what about your wife and kids? He's like, I'm out. I'm leaving. I got a plane ticket to Germany. He happened to go to Germany. That's where he was going. And I was like, have you told your wife? He's like, she'll find out in a couple of days when I'm gone. And I was like, well, I was just blown away by it. Like, I couldn't believe it. Because he didn't even seem like a type of dude like that would just like, I'm leaving my family. I'm leaving everything. I love you, bro. I see you. I might not see you again. And I was just like, I thought he was kidding. I was like, are you kidding, man? He's like, nah, I got some stuff I want to give you. And then he don't usually give you nothing. So I knew then he wasn't lying. I was like, okay, this dude is kind of greedy guy. He don't want to, he ain't usually going to give up nothing, right? And he was like, I got this for you. You know, just giving me things. And I was just like, this is crazy. But he told somebody. He didn't tell nobody, but he didn't tell his wife and kids. And I was just thinking, what a shit move to do that to your kids. Just to pack up and just leave like that. That just is like so horrible. I couldn't imagine doing it. Like, I don't know what was going on in his mind, you know, to say, hey, I'm gonna do these things. But he did. He packed up and he left. I mean, just gone, like another country, new life. I don't know if things were going bad. He never mentioned nothing bad about things going bad with his wife or kids or anything. He just said, hey, I mean, I don't think if he had told me, nobody would have knew. You know, he just got up and left. And I'm just like, that is the craziest thing. What a terrible, horrible thing to do. Like, I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, I can understand things ain't working out with your family and shit, or maybe they were, and he just wanted to leave. But I think you at least owed him an explanation, you know, to what is going on. Can you imagine that as a woman? You got a family, everything seems fine, and next thing you know, your husband don't come home, and then he's never coming home, and never said nothing to you. Not a fight, not an argument, not nothing, and just bounce out, right? Like, so what I'm saying is people are going to tell somebody that they're leaving. Like he told me, hey, dude, he didn't even tell his wife and his kids, but he told his friend, hey, I'm leaving, dude. I'm packing up. I'm out. So Sebastian would have told somebody, right? Like he would have said something. He would have contacted, what did he give you? I can't tell you on here. I can't tell you what he gave me. I can't tell you. This is old school. I'll just tell you this. This is when I smoked back in the day, right? But I can't really say what he gave me. He gave me a few things, but you know, but it was say, you know, I didn't want to see him go either. He was my friend. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, because he was telling me, hey man, I probably will never see you again. I don't plan on coming back. You know, and at that point, he knew, at the point that this happened, he knew I didn't fly or travel. I didn't. Now I do, you know, but that's what he told me. He said, man, I'll probably never see you again. I'm leaving. I'm going to Germany. I don't know why Germany. You know, I think he was really into music. He was one of my musical friends. You know what I'm saying? He had a band. And I think he wanted to go there because he played in like a death metal band. And I guess death metal was really big there. And I think he chose to chase his career instead of have a family. Like if you had to ask me to explain why I think he did it, I think he was living a dream. Right. And when you into music, it's almost like a drug. You chase it and chase it and chase it. Like I did the same thing. Right. When I was playing music, and you chase this dream that so many, very few catch it, right? But so many people chase it, and they will chase it to their old and gray. Like it's hard to explain walking out in a crowd in front of, like me, I played in front of like 10,000 people, right? Watch me perform. I opened up for Papa Roach and Hinder. And you look out there and there's 15,000 people screaming. It's a feeling that you can't get anywhere else. Okay. It's the highs of the high. Like when people are screaming for you, cheering, going crazy. And people, once you feel it, right? Once you get a little piece of that fame or that rush that comes over you when you're doing it, it's the highest you can get. Okay. I'm talking way better than any drug you could do. That feeling of going out there, it's like every time there's this butterfly kind of feeling, you know what I'm saying? The anticipation, the adrenaline, it all like comes out, right? So I believe he was chasing that, and that was more important to him than his family, you know? And like me, I got tired of chasing it. I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. This is just too, I'm getting too old for it. I don't want to live in a van with 5 people, these shitty clubs. And, you know, some nights were really good. You play in front of thousands of people. And then there'd be nights you play in front of like 10 people, 15, 20 at some little shithole bar in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, it was like, it's a weird thing. And like, it takes a certain type of person to be able to do it. You have to give your life to that. And if you don't, you won't make it. You just won't. And so many people give their life to it, hoping that they'll make it, and they never do. Like, they just don't know when to get out. I think I chose the best time, right, to get out. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. This is done. I just ended it. And of course, I found YouTube shortly after that. I'm still on a mic. There's still 888 people in the room. You know, that would sell a club out. Okay, think about that. At 4:00 in the afternoon, I would sell out the club if my band was performing there. So I have, you know, way more people that watch me here. You know, there's days I stream and there's 5,000 people in the chat room. I've streamed and there have been 30,000 people in the chat room. You know how hard it is for me to get 1,000 people to show up to the club? Hard. It's really hard. And so, I mean, I know in life that I made the right decision. And when I look back at it, it's the memories that I made, right? I've done a lot of things that a lot of people ain't done. I've met a lot of people. I've seen a lot of shit. I've been through a lot, you know, and I don't regret any of it. It was just a chapter in my life. Okay. It was a big chapter, but it was just a chapter. Some people, that's their whole life. Like, they won't give up. And that's how my buddy was. Now, is he a superstar? No. You're chasing what some people would say be the impossible. I don't knock him for not giving up, you know, because, you know, they say only people that catch their dreams are the people that chase them. But at some point, you got to know when, hey, enough's enough. And that's a hard decision to make for a lot of people. It's like athletes that, like Mike Tyson going out there getting beat up at 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know when your time is over. You're waiting for your hoodie. I got hoodies coming in tomorrow. Okay. So all stuff gets printed tomorrow. I got a big order coming in for hoodies and t-shirts. I'm going to be printing t-shirts and hoodies tomorrow, and they will be shipping out. So if you're waiting on a t-shirt or a hoodie, Amazon will be here sometime tomorrow, and I will start printing those tomorrow night. All right. So with that said, way off topic, but you know, some people do chase this with their whole life, or they go all in, just like me here on YouTube. I go all in on YouTube. Right? It ain't nothing has ever been half-ass. Okay. When I was doing music, I was sleeping in a van. I was traveling around. I was playing as many shows as I could. And it didn't matter if there was 5 people there or 5,000 people there. We played as much as we could to get out in front of as many people as we could. Same thing with YouTube. Everything goes into YouTube. When I was young, all my money went into music, equipment, gear, traveling expenses, vans, things like that, trailers. Here, same thing, microphones, mic stands, cameras, lights. It's always 100 with me until I end, right? It's like I go full in. I don't half-ass anything. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it to its fullest potential. Who is Daniel Martell, says 3.Dave. Daniel Martell is the boyfriend of Malaya Brooks. Malaya Brooks is the mother of Jack and Lily Sullivan that is missing from Nova Scotia. Daniel Martell was her boyfriend and the father of her daughter, Meadow. He was arrested Monday, 11:30 a.m. for 3 counts of assault, sexual assault, and confined, holding somebody hostage, basically. Confined detainment. He didn't let somebody leave. He's out on some circumstances, and we're just hoping that this leads us to where these kids are. Maybe he'll talk. Maybe he'll blame the mother. Something will happen. There'll be a break in the case. So that is who Daniel Martell is. All right. He is the father. He ain't the father. He's a loser. He's a loser. Okay. Long answer. He's a loser. He's been a loser. He's an addict that needs some help, and now he's got himself in a world of trouble because he's not a good person. So a bad person. Short answer, bad person. Who's Daniel Martell? Bad person. And will these kids be found? Like I was saying, back into the Sebastian Rogers case, similar situations, kids don't just vanish. And that's what Sebastian Rogers did. He just vanished. And there's no way, like, aliens didn't get him. And if you leave without a trace, like I said, that's because somebody has helped you leave. Now, if you ask me my opinion, who was responsible for the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers, I would have to say, this is just my opinion. There's no evidence of this. I think Katie Proudfoot is responsible for the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. And who would know would be Chris and maybe his family, because Katie didn't have no family to help her cover nothing up in that part of Tennessee, but Chris did. Because like I said, I don't think kids just vanished. And come to find out, they were trying to get rid of this kid. I think that's the biggest clue that people have to look at. Is, they can say they want this kid and they miss this kid and all these things, but all his parents were trying to get rid of him. And was Sebastian really that bad? I mean, we don't really know. We wasn't there with Sebastian. We don't know his behavior. We've seen little clips of it. Little clips. And to me, he looked like a well-mannered kid. But, some kids can act cool for a minute and then be bouncing off the walls the next minute and tearing shit up. I mean, it is what it is. But what we've appeared to see of Sebastian Rogers on the internet is a good child. We seen a dinner video with him and he seemed well-mannered. He ate like really fast, but most kids do. I don't know if y'all ever been out to eat with a teenage kid. It's just like, you might as well set 2 pigs across from you. You know what I'm saying? They just devour food. It's what kids do. And he seemed like a normal young man, from what it appears on video. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know Sebastian like that. But to see people not want him and he's uncontrollable don't make any sense, because we've seen him be well-mannered. And then, they're talking about these homes and everybody wants them, but everybody was trying to put them in a home. How would you feel out here just watching if somebody was trying to put you in a home, even if you were old? Like, listen, Christmas time, me, Tiffany, PJ, we went to the old folks home and we were able to gift Christmas presents to 6 people. Okay. And when we got in there, this was really a nice facility, nice people. One of Tiff's friends worked there. She works there. So she picked the people for us and we were able to, actually, it was like a Secret Santa tree thing, but we were able to meet the people and give them the gifts ourselves. Right. Because I guess at the end of the time, nobody had picked these people. And Tiff said, my friend told me, she said, it's sad because there's people on a tree that nobody picked. So I was like, okay, well, tell them we'll take the tree, but I want to be able to meet the people. And they agreed, because nobody picked their stuff on the tree, that we could go in and meet the people. So, it was really good, right? So we got to go in and go to their bedsides and talk to them and wish them happy Christmas and give them hugs and stuff like that. Stuff that people need, especially when you get older and you don't have anybody, because these are a lot of people that don't have anybody. And I looked at Tiff and I was like, this is a nice place, far as how they care for the people there. And I looked at it, I said, don't you ever put me in a place like this. You know what I'm saying? I was like, don't you do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason people have kids, is so we don't end up in places like this alone. It's good that we were able to go spend time with them. But the sad part is people end up in places like this. And when I seen it, the first thing I was thinking is, kid, you better not put me in no home. I get old and get a little senile or Parkinson's, or I don't think I'll make it to that age anyway. But if I do, don't you dare put me in no place like this. You know what I'm saying? I'd be wandered off somewhere before I'd want to be, in a home like that. I just wouldn't. It's too much like, I don't know, jail to me, right? But these people had a little freedom, but it ain't the life that I want to live. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking if I get to that age, I'd rather slowly go in the night and make it to where I can't be me. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain standard of life that I want to live. And if I can't live that standard of life, then I want to go to my next journey. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be at that. Now I would, maybe I'd answer you different if I was that old, right? But I don't really want to be there. And that's why nobody wants to be in a home, right? You want to be with your family. You want to be with your loved ones. You want to be with the people you care about. And did this kid know this? Right? Did this family know this? And if he did, is this a reason that he possibly, because I'm not ruling anything out. Mike Tyson could walk into the ring with a walker and walk away with $50 million. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could. Did the kid know that they wanted to put him in a home? Did he know? And if he did, this may be, some explanation to this. I would like to hear from Katie and Chris. Did Sebastian know y'all were trying to put him somewhere? Did y'all ever tell him that? Did y'all ever threaten them with that? We're going to put you in a home. We're going to put you here. Oh, if you don't stop this, we're going to do this. Do you think, let me ask you, Chuck, do you think they told him? Do you think Sebastian knew? If you think Sebastian knew they were trying to put him in a home, press 1. If you don't think he knew, press 2 in the chat. I'm just curious. Do you think they threatened him with it? Like, we'll put you in a home. We're going to send you off somewhere. 1, he knew. 2, in the chat, he didn't. I just want to see your opinions. I see some 1s. Y'all think he knew? I see a lot of 1s. 1, y'all think he knew? I mean, if he did run away, this may explain some of it, right? Whatever was going on in that house is because of Chris and Katie, right? It is. I'm not trying to blame him if he did run away, right? Yeah, I am. There ain't no other excuse. I mean, if your kid don't want to be around you, there's a reason your kid don't want to be around you. Maybe there's some truth to what Seth is saying, that they were talking to him bad and things like this, and this kid has ran away. That's why I think it's so important. And if he did run away, I don't think he got far from that house. That's why it's so important for me to continue to search and, to pressure the police, because that's basically what Seth is doing on the 26th, is trying to put pressure on Hendersonville sheriffs and police departments so they'll continue to search and do things in the investigation of his kid. Now, I don't think the police are going to go back out there and search. I wish that Seth would take some of this energy that he got, periodically, and put into the searching of his kid. Like, if my kid was missing and I was raising money, I'd be raising money for search parties, professionals, divers, everything I could to try to bring my kid home every day. would be, how am I going to bring my child home? And we don't see anybody searching for Sebastian. I mean, we got a couple of YouTubers. Don't get me wrong. There's, but they just, some of the stuff they do is silly. But they're searching. So I don't knock it. Listen, I love to see a million more YouTubers searching. I don't have nothing against YouTubers searching. But I like to see some large search parties in the Sebastian Rogers case. Because there is that possibility that Chris and Katie are innocent. Right? I mean, I don't like to say it because I think they had something to do with it too. But there is that possibility. And so many people have ruled that out. This is ruled out. Throw it out the window. They did it. Guilty. And I'm not like that. I'm just not like that. Even in Jack and Lily, I think they did it. But I can't rule out the fact I want people to search. And, they said because of weather, but there were search groups there, and they said they're going to continue to search as soon as the weather breaks. So at least they're still going to continue to search for Jack and Lily, but we don't see that in Sebastian Rogers or in Summer Wells. None of it. So if this kid is out here and nobody's looking, how are you going to find him? Right? If he wandered off and he sat down somewhere and the elements took over, just like Jonathan Bowley, okay, little boy in Alabama, he got to a certain point and he died. And it wasn't far from the home. It was within a mile from the house. They said 2 miles, but it really wasn't 2 miles. They say that they wanted it to seem like it was far. So, because they should have found him sooner. I hate to say this, they should have. But under the circumstances caused by his father, they couldn't. But they tried to say 2 miles from the home. He was not damn 2 miles from the home. I'll tell you that. He wasn't 2 miles from the home. Now, in my opinion, it wasn't 2 miles because I walked it. Right? Y'all see me walk it live. Okay? He was a mile from the home. 2 miles from the home? I don't think so. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. That's, it's rounding up a little bit. Was it a mile and a quarter? It could have been, but they were just like, around 2 miles from the home, because the farther it was, the harder it would be to find him, of course, right? But he really wasn't that far from his home. You would think they would have found him, but they really didn't, which is sad. It's a horrible situation. So how do we know that the Sebastian Rogers stuff is not the same thing? Listen, there's been people search, don't find nothing. Search again, don't find nothing. On the third time, bam, there it is. We walked past it 7 times, but today we found it, right? We look at baby Dane. Divers went in the water, didn't find him. Another diver came in, there he is. AWP, Callie Rodney. We searched for Callie Rodney. We put sonars. They get in the water in 10 minutes. They're pulling Callie Rodney's body out of the water. And she's real, okay? She's real. There's people out here that claim that little girl won't real. That's one thing you won't hear me say. Kids are fake. Any of that stuff with the schools, fake. No, it's real. We live in a terrible world, and this stuff is real. There's no reason to fake up the fake stuff because bad stuff happens every day. So we don't have to fake bad stuff in this world. Paranoia and lack of understanding make people say some weird things. I don't know why people say things they do, but they do, and everybody has the right to their opinion, but the kid's real. That's the more of that whole thing. But what I'm trying to get across is don't give up searching, because we could have missed it, right? We could have walked right past Sebastian. The police could have walked right past Sebastian. The damn dogs, them dumbass dogs, could have walked right past Sebastian. Everybody puts so much faith in these canines. I don't. I think some of them do great jobs. Don't get me wrong. I just don't put all my faith into this dog's going to track you down and be able to sniff you out. Okay? Tell them about the gun line, boss. Anybody seen that movie? Talk about the gun line. They had the dog that could always sniff you out. I don't think that's the case. So I believe that you look at all these other cases they used dogs in, didn't find something, then they found it without the dog. Look at the Hatfields and McCoys when they found that body recently of that guy that was shooting on the interstate and he went out there and unalived himself and they found him in the woods. Dogs had been all through there and didn't find them. So did all them dogs have broken noses? They just not as good as people say they are. They're good at finding drugs because they're their own drug. The dogs are strung out. That's how they teach them how to sniff out drugs. They give it to them, and then the dog wants it, and it's like, yeah, I got it, right? And really, they, so that's how they train their damn dogs. They give them a toy, and they put the product in it, and next thing you know, the dog's all geeked up, and next thing you know, he'll find that shit like it ain't nothing. That's why them drug dogs are so good. And then the search dogs are like, let me wander wherever the hell I wander. So are they going to find these people that nobody's looking for? Right? Are they going to find these people that nobody are looking for? Have you ever found your keys without looking? Just magically, they just, like, say I lost this lighter. Okay. It's in the chair. It falls into the crack of the chair. But I don't look into the crack of the chair. Am I going to find this lighter? Or is this lighter just going to magically fall out the sky? Be like, oh, damn, there's a lighter. I'm going to have to look to find this lighter. Okay, it ain't going to matter. God just ain't going to be like, boop, there it is. Here you go, Dolly. There's your lighter you've been looking for 6 months. No, I don't know. I got this light candles. I don't even smoke anymore, but I needed one to light candles. I've been on this candle burning kick. Anybody have been on a candle burning kick? If so, I got some candles I'm gonna be adding to the merch store. But I've been burning candles lately. I got a couple different ones. I got this waffle cone one right here. It smells really delicious. And I got me one over here too, but I ain't burning this one till I'm done with the waffle cone. Never give up searching. At least talk to people. Absolutely. Absolutely. They've given up. To me, you don't give up the searching. The searching is the most important part, right? Everybody wants to be a sleuth, but nobody wants to be a searcher. We got 70,000 sleuths. We got 3 searchers. Everybody wants to be an armchair detective, but nobody wants to get up. Okay? Well, usually detectives, they investigate and then they go out and look. Okay? This is to all my other armchair detectives out there. You can't just sit in a chair. Eventually, you have to get up and look. Okay? You think the homicide detectives just sit in their chair the whole time and they don't get out and beat the street? No, they got to be boots on the ground. That's where the answers come. That's where you take your theories and you see if there's any standing to them. But so many people want to get up here and buy monkeys and get hair plugs and not go up in the woods and look for kids. And I'm just using that one example, but there's 1,000 of them. Okay, there's 1,000 of them. They're too busy. Like if I don't get 37 super chats and 48 members, I'm quitting. They're more worried about that part of it than the getting out there and looking. They don't care. They want to talk about it. They want to act like they solved the case or whatever, but don't want to put in the work. I truly believe if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. Get out. Try to find answers for these kids. If you're sitting here, you can only do so much sleuthing until you got to do some looking. And if we had more people doing that, oh my God, true crime would be so much a better place. Like I just look at some of these people and like, yeah, some of these people have good theories. But like Donna Rever Seraphine, let's use the psychic lady, for example, for a second. She sees these visions, but you want other people to go look for your visions. Why don't you go look? You know what they look like. Why don't you go look, lady? Because it's a hustle. It's a scam. It ain't real. Okay? That's just true. Some people are like, Dolly, how can you be so mean? I'm not. I'm telling the truth. What you won't say is, Dolly, why are you lying? You won't say that. You just be like, why are you being mean to that lady? Because you know I'm telling the damn truth. All right? Get out and try to find the answers. At least some. Get out your desk a little bit. 50-50 it. Rose says, thank you for speaking facts. You know, my bad thing about all of this is which to me puts that damper on me, like that, like, damn, is it going to get solved? Is as soon as I see people not looking, I know you ain't going to be found unless it's by accident, right? Like maybe there's a hiker or somebody out on a 4-wheeler or just kids running in the woods and they stumble upon something. I mean, there's really only two options in the Sebastian Rogers case. He either ran away or his family did something to him. There's no other option. He wasn't kidnapped. There's no forced entry. That is a possibility. I ain't gonna say I'm just gonna say it's slim possibility that this kid was kidnapped. I ain't gonna say it's impossible because anything's possible. He could have been kidnapped, but I just think the odds of that are super, super low. Oh, hold on, my producer's calling. Hello, producer. No, that's 45 minutes from now. We good. Okay. All right, bye. All right. 1.1K likes. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me, liking the video. And I just don't want to see people give up the search. I think what they're doing, pushing for pressure on the police, is a good thing. Hold on a second. That's hurting my ear. I think that's a good thing. But also, we need to get back to the fundamentals of finding a child. What's the best ways to do that? Spread awareness. Search. Okay? Good detective work. 3 things. Awareness, searching, and good detective work. It's usually what finds a missing child. And I think we need to get back to that. And I don't think we're there. I don't think we've been there in a while. I think the police could be doing a better job. I think the family of this missing child could be doing a better job. Steph's doing better than he was. I'm going to admit that. Okay. I ain't knocking what he's doing because I think he's somehow getting back onto the right path. I feel like that, right? I hope anyway. You know, surrounding himself with bad people ain't going to bring his kid home. These people that gave him false hope. Is Danny Martell arrested? I just got here. Yes, he's been arrested. He's released right now, but he was arrested for 3 counts of assault, sexual assault, and confined, something, basically kidnapping. Okay. Confinement. Like he wouldn't let somebody leave. So he has three counts. He goes to court March 2nd. Yes, he was arrested. Unrelated to Jack and Lily, but this is a start. Hopefully we will get some information. Now, let me bitch about this no searching thing. If you're going to gather these people down there to protest, why not spend a day searching or protest and search? You know, if you're asking for people to help and volunteers, like, you know, in the courts when he was suing YouTubers, bad move, Seth, bad move. And even the Proudfoot's trying to put a YouTuber in jail, like, bad move. Even if I don't like the people, I still think it takes away because this is time you spent in court that you could have been searching for this kid. If you really would have wanted to find this kid, The only thing that would have been important is your child. Now listen, pray to God nothing ever happens to my kid, but I can guarantee you this, if something does, I'm going to worry about my child and not what YouTubers are saying or what YouTubers are doing. I'd be like, F YouTube. My only goal would be my child. Okay. I don't care what so and so thinks or what your opinion is. You know, there's a million people on this planet, billions. Why do I care what the hell your opinion is? Or why am I worried about what you're saying? I wouldn't be. I'd be worried about finding my child. And we've seen these people worried about everything else but Sebastian. It's heartbreaking. It is. As a parent, I wouldn't give a damn what, let's just say I wasn't me. And Dolly's up here going, I think Jimmy did it. Would I give a damn as Jimmy what Dolly was saying? F Dolly. Who the hell's Dolly? Right? That's what I would be at. Like, I don't care about what this dude thinks. This guy don't know shit. He don't know the inner workings, right? I wouldn't care. But these people were focused. Like, they were worried about what everybody was saying about him instead of worrying about Sebastian. The only worry they should have had was that child. Nothing else. You know? They worried about what I'm naming my soap. Worried about where that child is at. Worried about finding that kid. We didn't see that. We didn't see that. And it pissed me off. Right? It pisses me off still to this day that the search efforts for this child could have been better. Same thing on Summer Wells. It's been so long, people just feel like they don't have to search anymore. That's not true. Right? Just because you didn't find nothing don't mean you won't find nothing. Remember when I said earlier, the only people that catch their dreams are people that chase them? Y'all remember that? I stole that quote from Vince McMahon, the WWF. Depends how old you are, right? That's one of my favorite quotes. The only people that catch their dreams are the people that chase them. The only people that find stuff missing are the people that search. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And listen, everybody won't, but there be the few that will. That's how you have to think of things. But if there's nobody chasing, there's nobody searching, there's going to be nobody that makes it. It is what it is. I mean, it's just facts. It's just facts. So this child's only been missing 2 years. Now, do I think Sebastian, trigger warning for anybody that's sensitive out here, okay? Just trigger warning, earmuffs, whatever you want to call it, all right? I believe this child is dead. I believe Summer Wells is gone. I believe Jack and Lily are gone. I just do, okay? Every time I'm hopeful, it ends bad, okay? So I'm going to go with the bad off the jump, and maybe it'll end opposite of that and end good, because I'd like to be wrong. Okay. If I'm wrong in true crime, thank you, little baby Jesus. Let's celebrate my wrongness. Okay. Because more than anything, I want to be wrong and these kids be alive and sold into trafficking, and one day they're going to be rescued. I mean, it's a great dream, but that's what it is. A dream. It ain't real. It ain't based in no evidence. It ain't based on no fact. It's just a hopeful dream. So I want to see people putting together search parties. And there's people that are there. That's the thing. It's the people that are there that should be doing it. Now, like I said, I live so far from Sebastian. I can't do it. But there's people there that should be organizing these searches. And then, as you know, a good YouTuber, I would promote your search. I get up here and be like, yo, they're going to be searching, meet here, as YouTubers, we would spread that information. But the people that are there in Hendersonville, somebody has to take the reins. There has to be a leader. Does Hendersonville not have a leader at all? Does it not have good people that'll stand up and fight for this kid? Not one single soul? It just blows my mind. Like, I don't want to see people not search for these kids. Summer Wells been missing almost 5 years. I still want people searching for Summer Wells. It's only been 2 years. And like I tell people, when I go out there searching for these kids, I'm not looking for them to jump out around a tree and go, Dolly, I'm over here. I'm looking for bones. I'm looking for something that may need to be tested to see if this may be partial remains of a person. Because at this point, you got to remember, if he was in the woods dead, you're going to be scattered. Animals are going to scatter your bones. But them bones are going to still be there. Maybe they be little bones, finger bone, toe bone, don't matter, hip bone. Something's going to be there. You're not going to vanish. There's going to be a trace of you. I mean, you can go dig up a body from 300 years ago and they're still there. Okay? I can only imagine after 4 years, you're going to be there. 2 years, you're really going to be there. Okay? You may be bones, but you're going to be there. There's bones from hundreds and hundreds of years ago that you can dig up. So why give up? There's still hope. Just because you're not like, you may not be looking, or an animal may have drug a bone into a place you've already looked. Because animals are known to scatter bones. May eat on your bone a little bit, chew on your bone, run down the street with it. But they're going to be there. Okay, they're going to be there. And when I just see people give up hope in the searching, it makes me feel like you're not going to be found. And what's the objective of this channel? It's not just to talk about missing kids. It's to help missing kids be found. Why talk about it if you ain't going to try to find them? To me, that don't make any damn good sense. To me, it's all about finding them, and talking about them is part of trying to find them. But if you ain't trying to find them, why even talk about them? So when I see these parents that are not doing anything, it just, and I'm talking publicly. I'm not talking privately, because they could be sitting here watching going, Dolly, well, we did this, and you just don't know about it. You might be right. You could be doing stuff behind the scenes that I don't know about. I'm not privy to everything. But there's a certain level of public expectation in the disappearance of children that you have. There's certain things the public wants to see. We want to see you trying to find your child. We want to see you doing everything to try to find. That's what makes us want to help. Okay? Why would anybody look for your child and you're not looking for your child? Well, why should I go do that? Why should I sacrifice my time with my family if this family ain't sacrificing their time? How do you feel sorry for somebody that ain't looking? That's the reason I go help. Mostly is because I feel bad for these people. And I would want them to help me. That's why I go help these people. But you got to help yourself first. And then I'd be glad to help you. And I still do stuff even when people ain't looking, I still try. But it's sad when you look back as just a viewer of this, like it's a window and you're looking through it and you see all these people that are there and could be setting up search parties and they're not doing nothing. Nothing. And they're there. They would rather somebody travel from wherever they travel from. I think, what is Silver's down there looking? He travels from Georgia or whatever it is. Me, I'm in Virginia. I travel, 8-9 hours to get to, like, you expect these people to do this? when you're there, shame on you. Listen, you could have loved Sebastian to death when he was alive and treated him great as can be. But ask yourself, are you neglecting that child right now by not doing these things? I would say you are. I would say you're a neglectful parent, that you have obligations to try to bring this child home. And you ain't doing it. And if you're neglectful now, how was you when he was with you? It makes me think, well, maybe you were neglectful then, if you're being neglectful now. Just how I think about it. But I still encourage people, February 26th, Sullivan County Police Office, Sheriff's Office. I'll have the address and time for you guys as it moves closer this month to what they're out there doing. Like I said, even if you don't like Seth or you do support Seth, that don't matter. What matters is Sebastian Rogers. That's what matters. Not Chris and Katie, I mean, they're the parents. They matter in that aspect. But as far as us trying to get justice for Sebastian, the only person that matters is Sebastian. Made that clear. Green team, orange team, Summer's army, Sebastian's army, whoever you claim to be with. If this is about Sebastian, you'll be fighting for Sebastian. The internet is what picks these weird effing teams like it's a game. Missing kids is not a game. Missing kids is real life. A game is something you play. I don't play fucking games unless it's a video game, okay? These kids ain't no game to me. This is real. The emotions are real. The searches are real. Everything surrounding it's real. Get out, support Sebastian Rogers, February 26th. If you're in that area. And I encourage somebody to take the reins, the leadership on this, and put searches together for Sebastian. And if you build it, they will come. Okay, like Field of Dreams. I quote a lot of movies. I don't know what it is with all the quotes tonight. But build it, and they will come. Okay? I promise you. Build it, and they will come. If not, you can just sit around and hope you get answers. Or you can try to find those answers. I guarantee you, trying to find them, you're going to get the answers quicker than if you just sit around and hope for answers. Okay? Damn, Flippy, you blocked me. Amen, Dolly. Yeah. And same circumstances in the Summer Wells case. Okay. Listen, I don't know what's with people posting misinformation. All right. First, okay, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but they posted a picture of allegedly Don Subaru wrecked in a ditch on a curve, but yet Paul Hill don't live on a curve. We've seen his house. We've Google mapped his house. People spread, and then you got Fred Hill saying, yeah, that is it. That is the car. But yet you ask Fred Hill, I don't know nothing about that house. I don't know nothing about no Paul Hill. I don't know. All Scooby-Doo and shit, right? But then when they show the house, he's like, yeah, that's it. That's Don's car. You know an awful lot for somebody that don't know nothing. Okay? Make that shit make sense. I mean, you got all these people that should be locked up. Terrible people, no different than Daniel Martell. He's doing the same drugs that Fred Kills allegedly doing. The only difference, Martell didn't have a lab. The Summer Wells case, it has the craziest characters. Maybe it's because they're like, it's a little backwood and they just seem more interesting than, your typical like Hendersonville people. They all got, more money, and it's the same story. It's just one's poor and one ain't. You know what I'm saying? But the characters in the poor story seem so much more crazier than in the Sebastian story. Okay, I mean the Bobby, the neighbor, and Sebastian, but the neighbors in Summer's case, Jody Sue Brown. What that is, you know what I'm saying? But we got people out here that are trying to take away from the information that's out. They're trying to take our eyes off the people that are involved. And I suggest anybody out here that are into true crime. I think if you're into true crime, you have to be somewhat intelligent, a certain level of intelligency to try to figure out a mystery. Now, how many people sit around and watch mystery movies and tell, I'm notorious for it. Me and PJ will start watching it and I'll tell PJ the whole movie. I'll be like, this is who did it. This is what it did. We went out to dinner. And of course, you know, there's 100 people at dinner and you got to solve a crime. Me and PJ solved a crime. It's basic. A lot of it's common sense. A lot of it's just common sense. Right. But in most crimes, you don't have a defensive line like a football game. Right. Usually you don't have people in most crimes out here spreading a big misinformation campaign. Right? Now, if you're involved with one of the suspects in a case, you shouldn't talk about the case. Okay? Because we know right there, your opinion is going to line with their opinion. And if they're lying, you're going to be lying. I don't ever recommend a YouTuber go lay in bed with a suspect of a crime. All right. People just think, hey, Dolly, you want to talk mean about this person. Even this person thinks somebody put me up to this. Right? To suspecting Fred. Nobody had to put me up to suspecting Fred. Look at him. Okay. If he ain't a suspect in this crime, a man that has inserted himself in every step of the story, would I be talking about him? I could care less about his ass, right? I could care less about him. What I care about is justice for Summer Wells. And he's involved in this story and keeps inserting himself into the story. If you don't want me talking about the man, tell him to come clean and stop inserting himself in every aspect of the disappearance of Summer Wells. But right now, I completely believe that this person is involved. There's no reason not to. He put himself there. And if you're there, to me, you are a suspect. Now, did he do it? I can't prove it yet. And I want you to know this key word is yet. That don't mean we ain't going to try to figure it out. That don't mean we're going to stop fighting. We don't give up until somebody's sitting their ass in prison. You look at every case I've covered. I talked about it from the beginning to the end. Everyone. And in the end, I usually show up in court when they prosecute you. Because I cover it from the beginning to the end. Right here on Facebook says, Fred's involved. Up, church fan. Okay. We're going to find out. If he is, he's going to pay. If he's not, then he got nothing to worry about. Why are people worried about what Dolly says? It goes back to that. If I say something that bothers you, there's a reason it bothers you. Right? If you're getting mad about what I'm saying, there's a reason you're getting mad. You ain't getting mad for nothing. I don't get mad at people when they say shit that ain't true about me. I don't care what you say. I don't care when you say shit that is true. Most Leslie, when you're saying shit that ain't true. But when I start to focus on you, it's because you're cutting me. You cut me deep. You cut me deep. Okay? If you ain't cutting me, I ain't worried about you. Dolly, you even got Fred in the chat. So, I mean, I don't care if he's here. I don't care if he's here. I gave them every opportunity to come up here and speak about their stuff, and they chose not to do it. They chose not to. You would think if somebody thought something of you, you would want to clear your name. Well, let me clear my name. But when you start getting mad and attacking people, there's a reason somebody pissed you off. Right? It's fake Fred. Okay. Fred Hill's mullet is here. Hey, it's Fred Hill's chipped mullet. If you're going to be a troll, at least get the name right. There's a chip in that mullet. Okay, that's a chipped up mullet. If you're going to troll, at least get the trolling right. Fred Hill's chipped up mullet. The answers are going to come. I pray to God anyway. If you did something to this little girl, trust me, you're going to pay. And then when you do, I'm going to be there. Okay, so you're going to see this face no matter what. You had something to do with this little girl when it all comes out. And it'll come out. I got faith in little Jesus and God that this is one of those cases that gets solved. And it will. It may take, well, sometimes it takes a long time. It will. And then when you're getting prosecuted, I'm going to be there laughing at you. The last face you'll see is mine. Same thing I told Leilani. Same thing Megan Boswell looked over at me like, who the hell is this guy? You're going to see me. Kayla Montgomery. You're going to see Dolly. Stacey Wandra, you can believe you're going to see me. Okay? I'm already making my plans for your ass. But you're going to see me. And when I see that tear run down your eye, I'll know that this was all worth it. Okay? Because I'm showing up for that tear. There's just no doubt. I don't give a fuck if I got to travel around the planet. I'm showing up. If nobody else, you can believe I'm going to be there. When justice is time for justice, Dolly will be there. Fred, Ernie has your chip, but he put it in his brain, okay? Ernie has a chip of a mullet in his brain. We always thought it was like Elon Musk's like Starlink that Ernie had, but no, it's just a chip of Fred Hill's mullet in his brain, okay? Good luck to Ernie and everything he got going on with him. He's been acting pretty normal lately, so shout out to that. Hopefully he handles his legal situations and all that good stuff. You know, I don't wish bad on anybody out here. There are some people out here that should be good humans. You know, something was brought to my attention. I ain't gonna say nothing about it, but because bad things happen to bad people, I believe that. Good things happen to good people. And maybe bad things wouldn't happen to you if you was being a good person. That's all I'm going to say on that. I don't like to kick people when they're down. It ain't what I do. But if you're a bad person, I still feel bad for you. But you make it a little bit harder when you just not you never really know who's helping you behind the scenes, right? Especially when you need something from somebody and people are helping you, but yet you don't know those people helped you, and you attack the people that were trying to help you, not knowing because you didn't care to look who helped you. Then one day you'll need the help of those people again. Because that's just the way life is. You're going to need people. You know, those same people are going to be there to help you when you bit the hand that was feeding you before. Oh, they're not. No matter how tragic the event is, they're not. So before you go out there and you start talking bad about somebody, At least look and see if those people helped you when you needed it. See if those people said encouraging things about what was going on with you before you attack those people. Be a good human being, people. Be good. Be good people. All right. With that said, is there anything else I want to touch on some well stuff? We need to find this little girl. We need justice. Okay? I'm going to end it on that. You guys have been great. I will be back later tonight for some true crime with y'all. And of course, I'm glad to see Daniel Martell in jail. Well, he got out, but he's going to prison. So either way we look at it, this man's going to prison. And when you get in there, I hope Bubba does the same crime you committed. Okay? I hope he does the same crime you committed. I hope they put you in the cell with the biggest, baddest dude in the joint, because that's what you deserve. Okay? Life has a funny way of biting you in the ass. It does. It just does. Karma always comes back around. Oh, guys, check it out. We have restocked the store. Soaps, lotions, body washes, you name it, t-shirts, hoodies, everything's back in stock. Go over to the merch store, buydollysoap.com. Say it with me. Say it with me. Buydollysoap.com. Can you say, I'm Hulk Hogan, your ass, right? Buydollysoap.com. Soaps, lotions, body washes. Get them while you can. Our stuff sells out so fast. So if there's like a, if you like cherry almond or you like a certain thing, you better get it quick. Okay, you better get it quick because I'm only making so much stuff. BuyDollySoap.com. Also, remember this. If nobody else loves you, Dolly does. Peace.